Hello friends, I'm Larry with Rides Done Right, and this is Journey to Track Days! Hello! Yeah! Boy, that was nice.
This car was already built by Strictly Street Rods. He got wiped out in the 4-way
I can have the most talented guy in there, but if he's not driving with the rest of the crew, it's just a bad.
Drives the truck, drives the car, he flies the plane. Do you get paid 3 times? No.
This show, top 5 in America.
Hello friends, I'm Larry with Rides Done Right, and we're at PIR for track day number 4. And this one was extra special for me because Alan got to come out first time. So it was my 4th track day, Alan's first ever.
Howdy, folks.
And that's what you have to say about your first track day ever. He's
Man.
speechless.
It pretty much, it was off the scale fun chart. I mean, it was out of the park.
So we start the day off, and first let's talk about what we were riding today. So you have a
Ninja 1000.
and it's a 2013.
It is.
And I have the Journey to Track Days bike, plus this week I also picked up a 2007 CBR 954RR. So I was mixing it up with a different bike today for the first time. You had yours on the track for the first time. So we had a lot of firsts and a lot of fun. So the day started out, it's an OMRA race day and with Too Fast. Now we do all of our stuff with Too Fast, and because OMRA is racing tomorrow, they did not have, Too Fast didn't have a 100 group. So Alan got to jump in the deep end and ride in the 200 group on his first time out.
I was a little concerned that was going to happen, but I was prepared for it because I knew it was a possibility. So, but as the day went from the first session to the last, it was great. No problems, no issues, and yeah, by the last session, we were moving pretty good. It was pretty cool.
So we started off that first session, and because it was just us going out in the 200 group, we decided that we just you've never seen the track, so we'd go out and ride it slow. We spent the first session slow comparatively, but at the same time we were hitting stuff pretty good. For your first time out, you had a much faster start than what I did because I had an instructor really keeping me in tight, which was great. But in this case, we didn't have that, so we just kind of went out and rode and went for the lines. And so how did that go with you behind me checking out the lines? Were you staying in nice and tight on your first session?
Not exactly. But yeah, you were a great instructor, as far as I know. So yeah, showing me the track and the lines, it's pretty incredible. I mean, street riding. I mean, we've both been riding almost 40 years each, and so. But when you get on a track, everything changes. I don't care how good a rider you think you are on the street. You get on the track with 40 guys in your group, and you go hitting it and start laying down the corners. It's a whole nother animal. Pretty cool, but it's a whole nother animal.
So
and it is all about the lines.
It is. So well, that's one thing to work on. So we basically we decided, hey, we weren't going to be overwhelmed with the day and try and cram a whole bunch of all the things in at once. Just a couple of things. It was go out, get comfortable on the track, learn the lines, and we did some pretty decent speeds right off the bat. Now I want to point out that until 2 o'clock we ran the chicane here, so we didn't have the full straight until the last few sessions, and even one of those was cut short because a guy decided not to turn at the end of the straight, which didn't work out too good for him. So that kind of put us back a little bit, but it was fun to go in with the chicane and learn, and we had some pretty good. I know for me in the chicane, I had my best top speeds up to the chicane were today for me. So I like to see the progression. I got progression. You had it right off the bat because there was nowhere to go for you but up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was a little nervous about, you know, coming out, especially being thrown in the 200 group, but it was a huge help to have you there in front of me, you know, taking it easy those first few laps. That first session was awesome. The second session, it was more, okay, now I got to try to figure out the lines. And then the third and on was, okay, figuring out the lines and then figuring out riding position so you can hit those lines, you know, and keep a little more speed up instead of poking around them. So, but yeah, and then just this afternoon, after the lunch where we got a little break and rested a little bit, and then this afternoon it was just kind of shoot and scoot.
I thought it was really cool that, you know, at the end of the first session, I looked over at you. You came in, big old smile, big high five. It was like, okay, now I get what you've been talking about with this whole going out and doing track days. It was instant. You knew right off the bat that this was a good call.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I was concerned about my bike because it's not a race bike. You know, it's more of a sport race bike.
Sport touring kind of a class
is what it is, yeah. Right. So it's based off a race bike.
Yeah.
Same motor, you know, ish. You know, it's got the liter power, but the handling, I mean, just the cornering and the handling is the biggest thing. I can just tell it's just not meant to be on the track. But having said that, it did pretty flipping good today.
It did really good.
I was pretty happy with it for what it is. It did well.
Yep. So the thing we also noticed is that each session that we would go out, it got better and funner every session. Each time we'd come back and be like, how did that go? And it's like, man, it was awesome. Best session ever. And then we'd come back in from the next session. It's like, how was that session? Best session ever. So basically we just kind of repeated the same thing over and over. It's like, okay, we found a formula for making the best session ever. And it was kind of, okay, each time we're going to hit the straight a little harder and hit the corners a little harder. And and you know, one thing I'd ask you is, you know, one of the big questions you come out on a track and being in the 200 group was we knew we were going to get passed a lot by fast guys. Did you feel at any time the whole day that a pass came by you and it was like, oh no, I need to stop doing this? Did you get scared and puckered?
No, and I was concerned about that too. You know, it was like that was my biggest concern, not me riding above my ability and putting it down, but my concern was somebody coming, you know, taking me out or being in somebody's way or, you know, something like that. But no, all day long everybody was very mindful, because if they hit me, they're going down too, so they don't want that, you know. And the whole 10-foot rule, there wasn't anybody at any time that really cut me off or I felt, oh man, he almost hit me or anything like that. And those guys, I mean, there was a lot of guys just flying by, and other people were, you know, not so flying by, but still, yeah, no, there wasn't any time that I felt uneasy or endangered or, you know, unsettled or any of that. It was all just, I felt comfortable pretty much all day after I got the jitters out from that first couple sessions.
Yeah, and it was fun. You got some good speeds. We were comparing notes on that. We were having fun. We were looking at our speedometers a little bit on the straights to see kind of where we were, and man, I was really impressed your first time out that bike and what you did. I'll tell you what was really impressive, and we'll have footage of this up, is we decided after we'd had all these great sessions today where we were pushing things, and we had at the session before the end, we both said, that's about as good as it's going to get. I mean, we tore up that session and had really good runs. And we said, what are we going to do on this last one? We said, let's just go out and we'll video us from each other's bikes, and we'll have a lot of video on that last session. And we were bombing each other and playing around that whole last session and had a blast. So look forward to watching the videos from us playing around on the track today, and it was pretty cool.
It made it really enjoyable, that last section. It just kind of detuned everything down to where it's like, let's just go play and have fun. And we were still cutting it up, but you know, for us. But yeah, that was a great time.
So a question is, do you think you're coming back?
Oh yeah.
Look out, we got a new hobby, and
Oh.
we're going to be dumping some stuff into it to make it happen, Captain. So
Yeah.
a huge crowd of bikes. Now, I've been now, like I said, 4 times. There were more bikes today than I've seen at any of the events we've been at so far, and I don't know. I don't have an actual count of how many was in our group on the track, but we looked back at one point to see the line of bikes that were going out behind us when we were at the front, and there were a lot of bikes. So good news for Mark that there was a great turnout here again. We're hoping that we're going to continue to see this turnout at different tracks, because I'll say anybody who likes this and thought this was cool, I have been to one other track that was ORP and loved it. So there's 4 tracks to go to here in the Northwest that are all great, and hopefully we're going to see some people get out and have some fun and look Mark with Too Fast up and sign up, come out. If you have not done one and thought about doing one, you gotta come and do it. Did all the talking I said about how you gotta come and do a track day, did it equate to what you experienced?
Oh yeah, it was just over the top. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And my riding, I mean, granted, track riding's different than street riding, but you know, you mentioned this to me in our chatting and stuff, that you know, you've been riding for how many years, and you came out here and it was like you didn't know how to ride on the track. It's just totally different. And my riding and my comfortability on my bike now, I mean, you know, coming hot into corners and getting on the brakes and, you know, getting on it, coming around and hitting the straight. I mean, I'm more comfortable on my bike now, and I'm going to take all that's going with me to the street to where my street riding's going to be so much safer now.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
just incredible. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Not to mention the fun.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue at this. We got one more to go, weather permitted. We'll be back here at PIR next month, and so stay tuned. Watch all the other videos. Again, the series now we have all the bike prep, the trailer prep, the stuff with Mark on instruction. His instructions, that we have 3 videos with Mark doing the professional riders race school, whatever it is that they have, and that is must-watch stuff. If you're getting ready to go out, watch those videos that we have on him doing instruction before you go. It'll be real helpful. And watch the other track days and all the videos we're putting out. So subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and make sure you visit the website, because you're going to see a lot of photos of other bikes, not just ours. And that's all I got. You got anything to say as we leave?
Yeah, no, just reiterate what you said. I watched the videos that you put out from your other track days when Mark was, you know, talking in his classes. And I was watching those, I listened, and I applied every one of those out here. I mean, after you get settled down and you actually get comfortable and you're out doing stuff, it's like, hey, okay, you know, what did he say? What do I need to work on? What do I need to do? And it all helps huge amounts.
Well, that's good. And I do the same. I actually watch the videos we put together myself the night before to freshen up and know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing to when you get out here. So, all right, we're done from here, and we'll catch you guys next time. And like he says,
Ride it like you stole it.
Bye-bye.